Okay, here it is. I'm going to do this today while I've still got a tad of energy left in me. It's Albert's reunion, which is part 3 of Albert and the Lion. Okay, so here we go. You've heard of young Albert Ramsbottom and Mrs. Ramsbottom and Dad, and the trouble the poor lion went through trying to stomach the lad. Well, after the lion disgorged him, quite many a day had gone by, but the lion just sat there and brooded with a faraway look in his eye. The keepers could do nought with lion. He seemed to be suffering pain. He seemed to be fretting or something, and the coal all went out of his mane. It looked at its food and ignored it, just gazed far away into space. When keepers tried forcible feeding, they got it all back in their face. And at Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom's, the same kind of thing had begun. And though they tried all sorts of measures, they couldn't rouse Albert, their son. Now Mr. Ramsbottom got fed up, and trying to please him in vain, and said, "If you don't start to buck up, I'll take you to lion again." Now instead of lad getting frightened and starting to quake on the knees, he seemed to be highly delighted, and shouted, "Oh Dad, if you please." His father thought he'd gone potty. His mother went nearly insane. But Albert stood firm and just bellowed, "I want to see lion again." So Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom decided the best thing to do was to give way to Albert and take him straight away back to the zoo. The moment the lion saw Albert, for the first time in weeks it had stirred. It moved the left side of its whiskers, then just lay on its back and just purred. Before anybody could just stop him, young Albert was stroking his paws, and while the crowd screamed for the keepers, the little lad opens its jaws. The crowd were completely dumbfounded. His mother was out to the wide, but they knew by the bumps and the bulges that Albert was once more inside. Then all of a sudden the lion stood up and let out a roar, and Albert, all smiling and happy, came out with a thud on the floor. The crowd by this time were all cheering, and Albert stood there looking grand, with the stick with the horse's head handle clutched in his chubby young hand. The lion grew so fond of Albert he couldn't be parted from lad, and so zoological keepers sent a note round to his dad. "We regret to say lion is worried and pining for your little man. So sending you lion tomorrow, arriving in plain covered van. And if you should go round any evening when Albert has gone off to rest, there's a lion all tucked up beside him, asleep with its head on his chest." And that concludes all 3 parts, well I only did 2 and 3, of Albert and the Lion, which was originally done by Stanley Holloway, and I remember it as a kid. And so thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. That's it for me for today. Bye.